Hello, my name is Keith. I'm going to do a video here of how we use the WebSphere SMF records to look for problems and help diagnose whether we are making improvements or whether our applications are performing better or worse. For this, I've used the CICS Web as my application server and COBOL programs. And there's some HTML code that gets served up and some JavaScript that gets used. First thing I'm going to do is log on, and I'm going to skip that part of entering my credentials. So here on the main menu, there's two options. One's for WebSphere SMF. One was total CPU activity data. That's covered in another video. Today we're going to do WebSphere. The first thing I'm going to look at is the summary records. The WebSphere SMF records are captured using MXG Merle's Guide tool that we have. It's using the Type 9 records. I think were introduced with WAS 7, much more informative than the older records. And one of the things I do is summarize them so that I can get a snapshot for the days of how things have been performing. I can look at the different applications and different years, different time of the day, well 8 to 5 in this case. Can exclude the weekends and submit that, and that gives me a good idea of how my application is performing from day to day, how much CPU it's using, how many tasks there were, total CPU time, how much specialty engines it used, what the response time looks like for the users, at least for the enterprise server part. And I can do that for all the applications. The next thing would be if we wanted to look at the detail records, if we wanted to dive into exactly what's happening for the app. I have a lot of apps here. A lot of them have the user IDs represented. I'm not going to display those apps. I'm going to pick an application that currently does not display the user IDs. Look at it. I'm going to start at like 8 o'clock this morning. Keep it on 15-minute intervals in this case. I've not put any of the delimiters in here to check for CPU or response time or number of bytes, and I can also break it down by the servers that are running. I can even look at, I've got it set so I can look at any tasks that were active for a particular minute or a particular second even of the day. So, but I'm not going to enter that. So let's do a submit. Okay, here we go. We're seeing at 15-minute intervals how much work was done in this particular application and how it performed, what the averages were like, and it's a pretty well-behaving application. There are not a lot of different problems. Here at 7:15, there were only 7 transactions. They had a little high response time. We can look at those. I can drill in and look at the individual transactions. So that's helpful, especially if user ID is there. It's helpful. I can break it down by user ID. I can even break it down by address spaces if we have more than one servant running, for a particular server. So I can see if one server is performing better than the other one. Sometimes they get errors and stop performing. I can even look at activity that's going on and say, just show me, like in this case, just show me all the case list initial.dos. I could break it down and just show that. So it's very, very helpful for looking back. We cut the SMF records every 30 minutes, and this database is continuously updated throughout the day. But you can always issue these switch, of your SMF records earlier than that, sooner than that, and then it takes a few minutes for it to update the database, and then it's available. So it's not real time for an error that's happening, and it's not going to show you transactions that haven't finished because the SMF record gets cut after the transaction finishes. But it will give you a good indication of what's going on out there. Let's go back to the main menu. Here's some other options. You can look at different periods of time for the different applications, and look at group them by county or activity or user ID or address space. Let's do this one by activity. And let's start at 8 in the morning and just cut down the number of records. We'll do till 10 and submit. Okay, and here we have a list of all the activities that occurred during that time frame in this application. I can sort them by who did the most tasks, who used the most CPU, who used the largest average CPU. It's a good place to look if you're trying to reclaim CPU and trying to tune different pieces of your application. So it's a very good place to look, and all this information comes out of the Type 9 records. Also, IBM provides for applications that don't really have useful information, like Google Web Tool applications and some other ones. IBM provides some SMF exit code that the Java programmers can put in that will provide, you can put any kind of information in there, and MXG helps you extract that. And so we'll put in our own user IDs for listeners and things that we're not getting it through the TAI interface, and put in our own activities to help us debug the applications and keep up with what's going on there. That was the group by. The last thing is just some WebSphere graphing that's going on during, that you can do during the day. We'll just do this one for today. And let's see, this was 8.5 I had checked up here. It gives you a total number of transactions that it did for the day, over 1.4 million. And also then I break down what's going on across the applications that are involved there. Some of the applications have their own colors that have been associated with them, and then for all the rest, I just take the top 10 and display them. And that gives you some idea. Oh, top 6 in this case. Sorry about that. Could be more, but I guess I just didn't think it was important to do them any more than 6 times that I wrote this. So that gives you a good idea of what's going on with your applications. Very good information. It's really useful to save it. There are other options. You could use WLM report classes, possibly, and some other SMF records. But the WebSphere SMF records are pretty useful. I didn't show it back there, but you can even break this out by the zip and zap. Well, now we're running zap on zip, so it's all in a zip processors, but you can break that out and see how it's performing on the specialty engines, whether things are better or worse. So very, very useful to us in our shop, very useful to me. If you have any comments or questions, please send them to me. Hope you have a very good day, and thank you for viewing the video.